Greetings to the teacher and fellow students. I'm Ambika Sharma, and today I'll be talking about a social entrepreneur called Ankit Kawatra. Um, we must have heard his name before, but personally, I have seen him in real in 2018 during an MUN conference, and he was a keynote speaker. And he As he started speaking, I realized it was such a simple issue that we face on a daily basis, and we must have often thought about it too, but we never went ahead of those thoughts. Uh, Now he actually took his thoughts, he processed, and he took action of them, and he came up with such a beautiful sort of concept today that I will be talking about, and we will also hear uh, him in the video. Unfortunately, I couldn't get him in real time. He's a busy person. So, because I have seen him in real, and he's kind of like the first entrepreneur that I actually saw. So, I thought it would be good to talk about him. So, um, this is Ankit, and he was, I think, very young when he started feeding India. And So yeah, Ankit founded Feeding India in 2014 to address two issues at once: hunger and food waste. Today, Feeding India has a network of over 2,000 volunteers in 28 cities in India, rescuing and redistributing excess food to help feed people in need. The organization has served over 1 million meals to date and aims to reach 100 million by 2020. Um, Ankit was 22 when he decided to quit his corporate job to focus on tackling food waste and hunger in India. It all started after he attended a large wedding in capital of India. He was appalled at how much food was going to waste in a country where 194 million are undernourished, a reality that spurred Ankit to launch Feeding India, the non-profit organization he founded in 2014. The idea was simple: to collect excess food from parties, events, and weddings and redistribute to people in need. What began as five friends helping out has expanded into a network of over 2,000 volunteers trained through the Hunger Heroes program. Today, Feeding India operates in 28 cities across the country and has served over 1 million meals. Ankit and his all youth team have no intention of stopping now. His mission has always been to reach zero hunger, and they're focused on a sustainable model that continues to expand and plan to reach out 5,000 volunteers. So let us now watch a video of Ankit giving his speech.
2 years back in 2014, when I was 22, I went to a wedding. And for those of you who are going to ask me if it was my wedding, it landfills. Now, what I like to say is that these landfills are really interesting places because they're 10 stories high these days. And this one is a landfill in Okla, which is 15 kilometers from here. And if you see in the red circle, that's a lotus temple. It has a view of the lotus temple from this landfill. It's that high. If you don't stop it, soon koi na koi is pe hotel bana ke, they're going to have a nice hill station there. Is that magnificent, right? And there are so many landfills which are being built by the food we are wasting. And the condition, I mean, this is again nothing new. We know about the people who work at these landfills, who segregate the waste, and the kind of lives they live. It's disastrous for health conditions for them to be there. So when I saw this 2 years back, I used to work in a business advisory firm, and I went back home. I switched off the lights, and I said, "Look, I could do what everybody tells me to do." I was in a place where I was from a management background, so I could have pursued my management career right off from then. But I was not able to live with the fact that there is a problem. There is a solution which we all can see, but we don't do anything about it. And that question that night in my head was, am I going to spend my life just like everyone else doing what everyone else expects me to do? Or am I going to leave the rat race and maybe try to have a bigger impact on people? That have you ever thought to yourselves if there was a teeny tiny possibility that you were special? Teeny tiny possibility. And that night I thought, if for 1 second, very dramatic, very typical Shah Rukh Khan, I would say, but that typical behavior, if you thought that you were special, what would you do? And that night I decided to quit my job. I didn't tell my parents. I quit my job, and I started this organization called Feeding India. And this is where, thank you. So what we do again is simple. I mean, I am sure you can guess it. We rescue this excess food from places where you and I eat, and we donate it to people in need. Again, this is not food that's left in plates. This is food left in dishes. Now, the amount of the food is so much, it can solve hunger. There are stats, and not just stats, people who prove that there is enough food for people in the world. We do not need to produce extra food. And that's the reason why we pick up the excess food, lock it in containers, pack it, quality, check it, and donate it to 3 different kinds of people who really, really need it. The important thing is a big issue that I think all of us face at some point or the other. When we want to donate funds, when we want to donate food, donate anything, it's about who to donate it to. And that's a big problem. One decision that we made when I started Feeding India is we will not donate to beggars, because we do not want to promote beggary. We want to give food out to people who really, really, really need it. And that's why we give food to orphans, old age people whose children have deserted them, and specially able people, people who cannot earn for themselves in the short term. This is what started off as 5 volunteers and me in a small room in Delhi. Within 2 years, grew out to 2,500 people in 35 cities, serving 1.6 billion meals. Thank you. It's awesome. I think it's incredible that a small team of passionate people can do something like this. And I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about the wonderful, wonderful people who we call hunger heroes. We call them heroes because in the middle of the night, when you and I were sleeping sometimes, in a cold winter night, and there are these people who actually leave whatever they're doing, college, side by side with the college, with the office, they volunteer, and they go and pick this food and donate it to someone in need. And if you think about it, they're not paid. Why would they ever do that? And that's a very Indian concept we came up with, the name we came up with, calling them heroes, because they are truly heroes. You just think about it, at 12:30 in the middle of the night, a guy going out, serving food, picking it up from somewhere, donating it to someone in need. Why would he ever do that? But these people do it, and I think, we need to salute them so much more. They're so amazing. So what's interesting is, I think my passion kept growing. I realized that if I ask any one of you, is there a point in your life or your child's life that you think you or him or her will be able to see a poverty-free country? I don't think you can answer it. We can't. And the fact is that we don't give it that much of a thought. If any of you has ever kept the rooms dirty, this is what I like to think about it. So if you've ever kept your room dirty, a side of your room dirty, and you don't clean it, काफी टाइम तक वो पाइल होता रहता है. धीरे धीरे धीरे, if you're lazy, you don't clean it up, it still keeps adding up. And when someone from the outside comes in, he points it out and he says there's a problem. The fact is that we've grown these piles in our country so long. And when it's so surprising, because when foreigners come to our country, we sort of point fingers at them saying, why do you point problems in our country? But the fact is, we've grown these piles of dirt so long. We have been lazy for so long. We haven't done so much for so long that we can do it now. And recently, I was selected as the United Nations Young Leader for Sustainable Development Goals for my work. Thank you. When I was selected there, I happened to visit the United Nations General Assembly, one of the most prestigious events in the world, all the prime ministers and presidents sitting together. And I was expecting to learn something, of much more technical. But what I did come back learning was, something I'll share with you, something very simple. Number one, the discussions that we have with our friends, with our colleagues, with our parents, the ideas that we have, sometimes which are very unrealistic, we don't have a plan for them, they are actually doable. When I was in that corporate firm working, thinking that the food could be donated to someone in need, think about it, it's live in front of you 2 years later, and we've donated 1.6 million meals. And that's the way presidents and prime ministers think. They want us to capitalize on those ideas and grow out of them. And the second thing I learned is that they look at India as a country which has a lot of potential, at the same time has the power to solve its own problem. So here's my motto, and this is the last slide of my presentation. I want to make food sharing a celebration. In a lot of ways, it always was. Every festival, I don't think there's one festival I can think of which does not have food involved. And it's always about sharing with neighbors. I think Diwali's come about, we're always gifting Diwali boxes and God knows what all these days to people. And we need to make food sharing a celebration, togetherness about each other. That's what we need to do. But most of all, the last thing I want to say is that, a lot of people ask me, can hunger truly be solved? Can we ever see a country where pregnant women do not have malnourished children? Where we keep talking about Indians representing us in Olympics, and we want more of them. But do we truly expect a pregnant mother, who's having a malnourished child to grow him into an Olympic champion? I don't think so. But what we can do for it is extremely important. And that's the last point. Simply by donating excess food, extra food from no matter where you are, by not wasting it, we can make a big difference. And believe me, this is not something I'm making up. It's proven. If a few of us can serve 1.6 billion meals, think about what all of us could do. I think that's amazing. Please don't waste food. If you ever have any extra food, donate it to someone who needs it. If you need help, call up Feeding India. We have a helpline number. But as I like to say, smart people don't waste food. If you think people are not believing you, put a Steve Jobs or some image next to it and share it. People will believe you. But the fact is, it should be believed because it's important, right? And we need to make sure that this generation is the one who solves the problems. I will make sure, and I need you guys to join me in this one. Please don't let me down this one. Thanks. See you guys.
So that was Ankit Kawatra. And I think the one thing we can all take back is the very basic lesson is that we should not be wasting our food. We should be not overeating, or in a way we're saving money, our own money, and also the whole pile of garbage that we used to send to be get dumped on the garbage. So thank you everyone. Thank you teachers. I hope this was a good um, interaction with the Ankit Kawatra Floor video. But this is something we should all know about, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to share about Ankit Kawatra and his idea of bringing up Feeding India. So that's about it. Thank you.